Hey guys, Satya here. Today we'll discuss radio button in Selenium. So generally three things. These are the things we'll be discussing today, and we'll discuss little bit in detail. So what and all? So these are the content today. So one is how to select a radio button. So whenever you see, so we'll be using one side, this one, and whenever you see, so these are the radio buttons, right? On the round button, which is a little different from checkboxes because so what is the difference? Okay, the first of all, we'll see how to select a radio button. Second is these are all independent. Okay, don't just think like these are all steps. This after I mean this the second step is after first step. So these are all independent. We can check. First is we will see how to select a radio button. Second is we'll see uh, we'll see how to check if a radio button is selected. So let's say these are all radio buttons, right? And these are all radio buttons coming under one group. Now, if you want to check this option 2 is selected or not, or option 1 is selected or not, right? We can check that. Now, if you see here in option 2, if it is selected or not, then in that case, this will give you false because it is not selected. Now, option 3, if you check, it will give you true because it is selected. And third thing we'll see is how to deselect a radio button. Now, in case you are familiar with this radio button, you can see once you selected any radio button in a particular group, right, you cannot remove that selection, right? You have to then select any one of in that group, right? So if you see here, initially if you go to initially if you go to this space, you see all are disabled, I mean all are not selected, all the radio buttons. Now once you select any radio button, then you cannot remove the selection from all the radio buttons. You have to select one, right? If you see, if I click here, it won't remove. Unlike it is in checkbox. If you see, if you select a checkbox, if you click again here, it will remove that check. But in radio button, you cannot remove. So we'll see that as well. Okay, so these three things we'll see, and of course we'll be using this. Okay, and we have a sample code here. Now what exactly we'll be doing is, this is the site we'll be using. So just see here, this is just a so this is our method what we'll be writing our code. We'll see how this works. And what we are doing here is we have just created one another method here, and what exactly it is doing, it is initializing the Chrome driver. That's all. It is opening the Chrome driver, and it will initialize and it will open the Chrome driver, and it will maximize. That's all. Okay, so this one leave it. Our main code will be from here, and this is at the end. We are just quitting the driver. Now this is the URL will be opening. So driver.get, and we will be waiting for some time. Now we'll see how to do this. So I'll just go here. Now, first of all, you remember. So okay, so before that, let me tell you something. Whenever you select a radio button, be it uh, checkbox, uh, radio button, or drop down button, whatever like this, whatever the element you get, whenever the technically when you do a click here, right? It just a click, mouse click you're doing, right? So remember this. Whenever you're so in radio button also, right? You will click in checkbox also. You click, right? In a drop down also, we can discuss some other time how this drop down works. But uh, in drop down also, there will be one box drop down. If you click, it will give you few options. Then you can select that. That also what you're doing. You are clicking, right? So all this stuff you can use the click method, right? Present in web element, right? Present for web element, that we can use, and you can perform this selection, right? So you do not have to worry about for radio button what exactly we need to use to select or deselect. I mean, deselect it's different thing, but select or checkbox what you need to use to select or radio button or drop down, right? So all this stuff you can do it by using just click method, right? So now we'll see, right? So now we'll access this, and then let's identify the XPath. So now let's see, and that is the first thing. And second thing is you need to remember is whenever you see a radio button, right, it will have a group. So in that group, once you select, so in that group there are two things. In that group, uh, only either one of the radio button you can select. If you see here, this is the group. This is the group in the sense, if you see this, see this is the first one, that is option one. This is the second one. This is the third one. Okay. Now if you see, the name is web form here. So this name is telling you this is the all the three radio buttons are coming under group web form. Okay. Now in this three, because the name are same, you can select only one. If you see here, see, if you select this, it will remove this. If you select this, it will remove all this. You cannot deselect. That is how it is. And if another group is there, then that also behaves similar way, but that is a different group. Okay. Now we'll see. We'll identify one uh, XPath here. Identify the XPath here. Okay, this is the one, option 2. So what we'll do is we'll navigate to this page, and then we'll select. Okay, first thing is we'll see how to select. First of all, let's identify the XPath here. So it is the input, type is radio, name is waveform. We'll use option 2. Input, type is radio, and name is waveform. So here we will see, we were seeing three radio buttons. Now we need to go here. The value is option 2. So we got this. Now we'll be using this XPath here. Now we have now opened this web page. We are waiting for 3 seconds. Now this is the XPath we'll be using. Now what exactly we're using here? Try button, find element. Now we'll be using the XPath. Okay. Now here we'll be using that XPath. So now let's identify this and store in a web element. Okay. Now I have stored it in web element, this one. Now uh, now let's select this web element dot. What you have to do to select, we will just use this click method. Click. Okay, now it is selected. Now let's wait for 3 seconds just to identify. So now let's see this whether it is working or not. Then few customized stuff will be doing here. Right now let's see this code whether it is working or not. Run it. Right. Now you should see this. This is clicking. Yeah, it's selected. Then it will close. It will go for 3 seconds and it will close. Right. So that is fine. It's absolutely working fine. Now, so now we selected. Right. Now in that form, if you now you would have seen that it's selected. Then it waited for a few seconds, 3 seconds, and then it closed that browser. Now we'll see after selecting, we'll see whether that radio button is selected or not, because in our script it is required. In our test case it is required to validate. Now let's say this. We clicked here. Now we'll validate whether it is selected or not. So now this is the web element. Now you can use it's selected. Okay. Now is selected will return what? Boolean. Okay, is selected. Now let's print this also. Is selected. Now we'll just print here selects. Okay. Now it should print is selected or not this time. See this? Right. So it is unselected now. It will select now. Sorry. Some issue. Okay. See what is the error here. Yeah. In 1 minute, let me check what is the error here. Similar to dev tools. Some system. Dependency here. Sorry. What is this? This is that is fine. Still not with issue. Selected. Okay, so is selected. After selection, I'm just checking whether it is selected or not. I'm just printing it out, then waiting for. Okay, let's run it again and see. Yeah, I think there is some issue here. Uh, Since something boolean selected, if I comment here, then will it run? Then the issue is here in case this works. See, now it will check this. Okay, so here is the issue. Uh, what exactly we need? Yeah, so this was uh, yeah, I just updated the Chrome driver version. Because of that it was giving issues. So now, so we'll see what. So now we are clicking on the checkbox. I mean, we're clicking on that. So we are selecting it. Then we'll check what if it is selected or not. So we are just getting it. It's selected, and we are printing after selection. It is selected or not, right? So let's run it, and uh, yeah. So it will print whether it is selected or not. Let's see. So it opened now. It will wait for 3 seconds, and it will click on option 2. It will select. right? So it's selected. Now it will print whether it is true or false. It's selected or not. So it's printing here that after selection, is it selected? True, right? So now the same thing will be just doing it before selection as well and see whether it is selected or not. So what I'll do, I just copy this. What we are doing here is, this is we are getting the element for option 2 and we are checking is selected or not. This is what we will mention is initial. If initially it is selected or not, then we'll click, we'll select it. Again we'll see whether it is selected or not and we'll print here after selection. Let's run this. So what we are expecting, initially it should be false and after selection it should be true. Selected, it would have printed now. So that is what we are getting here, right? Initially it is false, after selection it is true. So this is what we are seeing now, right? We checked here both, right? To check whether the radio button is selected or not. Not necessarily you have to perform something, then you need to check. Whenever you navigate to any page, you can check that time. Right? So, yeah, that is what we did here now, right? Now, so now what we'll see is how to deselect a radio button. Sometimes what happens, I'll show you. Uh, Sometimes what happens, maybe it is application requirement, your application requirement, or it is a defect that whenever you navigate to a page, particular page, in a particular radio group, radio button group, uh, there is one button is already checked or already selected, right? That is, it should not be. In that case, what happens? You have to handle it through UI. So what happens is you have to deselect that. So that is what exactly we'll be doing it. So now for this one, we'll use JavaScript. Okay. So how to do that, I'll show you. So let's say, see this page I navigated now and all are deselected. Just assume that I just navigated to this and this is by default selected. But because this is a form, generally in a form you would see the radio button, checkbox, text box, all this stuff, right? So or like filter or criteria or search criteria, all this stuff. Now if it is selected and you want to submit that form or you want to click on search or filter something but without this button selected, then in that case, because the radio button is something like that, you need to select. Once you select, you need to select one of them, right? Or else you cannot get rid of that now. So how to do that? You want to deselect now, right? So that is what we'll see by the help of JavaScript. Okay. So now let's see this. Um, so now what happens is we are doing here. We just selected here. Now we'll remove that selection. So selection. We'll see here. We remove selection. So we'll use JavaScript executor, which already comes with Selenium library. JavaScript executor and put here. Then we'll convert that driver to JavaScript. Okay. Now then we'll be executing the JavaScript command here on JavaScript. We'll execute here, execute script. What exactly we'll be doing here is only one will pass here, and then we'll be passing the same web element. Now here what we'll do is checked equal to false. Now this will, what exactly it will do in the DOM for that web element. So once you click, right, generally when you click, the checked attribute becomes true. Now what exactly we'll be doing here is we'll just make that false in the JavaScript in the DOM itself. So that is what we'll see now. So we are now making it false. Now wait for a few seconds. Then again let's print this is selected, and this is what, right. Now I'll just get this is selected. Now again I'm calling this method. I'm getting this value, and what exactly what I'll put is after deselection, what is the value. Now what we are expecting here, we are expecting here false, right? This initially it will be false, then what we are expecting here, true. After selection it should be true, then again you are expecting here false after deselection, right? Now let's run this. Arguments checked to false. Yeah, this should work. So now it will select option 2, right, and it will deselect now. Yes, so looks like this worked. Now let's see this. Initially it was false, that is what we are expecting here, and after selection it is true because we selected now, and after deselection it is false. So that is how you can do it. So these are the three things so we are doing here. You we got here now how to select a radio button, and any selection you just blindly you can go with the click method, that will work most of the time. And how to check a radio button is selected or not is selected method, right? This is what we selected method we are using. And how to deselect, this is the JavaScript you need to use, and you need to use the checked attribute, you need to make it to false, right? Yeah, so that's all guys for this one, and we'll see in the next video. Please in case it is helpful, please like this video. Thank you.